we decided to bring in Elliotte Friedman, our NHL Network insider now from Toronto. Hi, Elliotte. Let's get to some of the news because I know there is a lot that you're working on right now. Starting, though, with, unfortunately, COVID news out of Vegas and the Montreal series. Kelly McCrimmon now has joined Dominic Ducharme on that COVID list. What are you hearing about the COVID protocol situation now between Vegas and Montreal?
Well, the good news, Jamie, the best news to this point is that no players have been added to the list. I know when Dominic Ducharme, when the news got out on Friday that he had tested positive, it was a very nervous 24 to 48 hours for the Canadiens organization. And now we're on Monday night and still no Canadiens player has been put on the list. So, you know, everybody's hoping that that's a good sign for Montreal. With Kelly McCrimmon, you know, his test came back on Saturday night. It was made public on Sunday, and it's the same kind of thing. Everybody's kind of just waiting through 24 to 48 hours with the Golden Knights, just hoping that it doesn't mean there's any kind of spread. And like I said, tonight the list came out for June 21st. There's nothing with the Knights, so with every day, everybody becomes, you know, breathing a little bit easier that we're going to get through this. You know, one of the issues with the Golden Knights was that they weren't wearing masks in Montreal and in Canada. That's a big deal up here still. So I know the league spoke to them about that, and that won't happen again. But just as long as it doesn't spread, and so far we've been able to avoid that, I think everybody's comfortable that we're going to get through this relatively unscathed, and let's hope that continues.
Yeah, we certainly hope so, because it's been a pretty successful postseason so far from a health and safety perspective, and we still have a few weeks left to close it out and award the Stanley Cup. Okay, off ice now. Lots of trade rumors swirling around. What's the latest on the Jack Eichel situation?
Well, first of all, there's reason that there's all swirling around because nosy people like myself are just blowing them totally out of proportion. So the latest I can tell you on Jack Eichel is I believe that the Sabres have entered in some pretty in-depth trade discussions on Eichel. I think they know what the market is. I think they know who's interested. I think they the thing about this is, the most challenging thing about this is, as far as I can tell, Jamie, and again, I checked on the weekend, I found no evidence that they've given anybody permission to talk to Eichel to discuss, you know, his future with his health and the kind of surgery he wants and where that's going to go. So at this point in time, if you want to trade for Eichel, you have to go through the team. I understand the Sabres are asking a ton, and they should. Eichel is a cornerstone player, and he's a number one center, and he can make a big difference in this league. I think the Sabres are asking a lot. This is a trade they want to win. I think they're deep in discussions with several teams. I'd be lying if I said it. I knew it was close, but I'll tell you this. I believe those conversations with teams like Anaheim and Columbus among them are pretty in-depth.
Okay, very interesting. And now we, of course, are just 1 month away from the expansion draft and just over a month away from the actual NHL draft, too. So lots of trade rumors before we get to those two big dates. What are you hearing about Oliver Ekman-Larsson and his future in Arizona?
Well, I think that for the second straight summer, that you're going to hear a lot of talk about Ekman-Larsson. And last year, Arizona went to him and said they would like to try and move him. And Ekman-Larsson said he would only give them two teams. He gave them Boston. He gave them Vancouver. And I do think there were pretty intense conversations with Vancouver. And I know there were some people who thought that that was going to happen. Obviously, it didn't. Now, this year, after another really tough season, they've gone to Ekman-Larsson again. There have been conversations, and Ekman-Larsson has 5 years left. But this time, what everybody has decided is Arizona has open permission to discuss Ekman-Larsson with any other team. Ekman-Larsson still has a no-move clause, and then they will go to him and say, look, we can make a deal with this team. How do you feel with this specific team? You know, you heard Cam Neely say last week that Boston's still looking for a left-hand D that can eat a lot of minutes for them. Boston is a team that's had interest in Ekman-Larsson for some time. I could see the Bruins still having interest in him again, but it's a complicated deal because of the amount of money that's still left on him. So I still think there will be conversations between the Bruins and the Coyotes about it, but I think that Arizona will have the opportunity to speak to more teams, and it's just going to be up if they can make a deal, if Ekman-Larsson's comfortable going to a particular team they can make a deal with.
All right, Elliotte, thanks so much for the updates, and I'm sure we'll be checking in with you periodically. Enjoy what should be a really great Game 5 tonight.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm looking at those two guys next to you, Michael and Billy. I'm jealous of those haircuts that you guys have. I got to tell you that much. I can't wait until up here in Ontario I can get myself properly groomed again.
Elliott's got the hockey playoff flow going in full
DIY,
force.
do it yourself.
Yeah.
Not
I mean,
a chance.
I do.
Yours is easier.
Yeah, it is, man. You don't have to rely on anybody else, Billy. Or not Billy. Elliotte.
Yeah, okay, all right. With that, farewell. Take care, Elliotte.